All right, what's going on, everyone? Hope you're having a great day. We're going to do a little old school vlog style today because I got somewhere I got to be. I'm just picking up the TRD Pro Tundra. I haven't driven this thing in about a week. As you know, I had the Supra. So what I'm going to do real quick, we're going to kind of cover two things in this video right now. Number one, I'm going to talk about the Supra a little bit and just my overall thoughts on the vehicle after having it for a while. And then number two, and this is the title of the video, I got to tell you guys what a couple people were saying to me about their first ToyotaCare service that just didn't make any sense. They want to skip it. But I want to talk about that first service on a brand new vehicle, especially a Tundra. But let's talk about the Supra. Anybody watching this, if anyone wants to timestamp, if you don't care about the Supra at all, if anyone wants to timestamp where we start talking about that ToyotaCare issue, please do so and help out your fellow subscribers and members of the channel. Which brings me to my next point. If you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. Thank you for being here. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and check out all the videos I've made. There's over 1,300 on the channel, and I put them into playlists for you to make it a little bit easier. You know, ask questions, comments, whatever you got. As a community, we would all love to help you and hope you enjoy your time on the channel. But let's get to the Supra. Okay, so let's jump back before I had the Supra. So I get press vehicles. Toyota gives me vehicles every once in a while for me to test for a week at a time and kind of give my overall thoughts on. Now, one vehicle I was always trying to get was a Supra, but every journalist that covers cars wanted the Supra, so it was a very long wait. And I'm still pretty low on the totem pole when it comes to getting what I want right away. Sometimes I gotta wait a little while, and through the years, I will be able to move up that ladder a little bit more and get into stuff a lot sooner. So it took me almost a year to get into the Supra, but I was finally able to get one. It was the, I think they call it the, I'm gonna put up a thing, like a picture right now because I always forget the name. I think it's called the 3 Premium, G3 Premium, I always forget this, but a pretty well loaded vehicle. About $58,000 is the cost of the vehicle. It was yellow. If you didn't see the video I made on it. But when I got into the car, there were a couple initial thoughts I had on it. Number one, they should have made a manual because it's called the Supra. I just feel that way. There should definitely be a manual option. I will say the 8-speed transmission that is in there after having it for the week is amazing. When you go into sport mode, you get the exhaust start crackling and everything, and you know, it has paddle shifters, and they actually do shift you know, quite well. I'll be a little honest with you. I'm kind of freaked out how well they did shift because a lot of the cars you drive, the shifting is never instant. But this is what I was calling all week long the poor man's supercar. The price is right, and I will say that. I mean, don't get me wrong, $57,000 is no little amount of money. That is a lot of money, but for what you got with this and the type of car it was, it really did fit right into it. Now, the big thing people always say is, guys, it's a BMW, it's not a Toyota, it just has Toyota badges. Well, pretty much everything on the car is truly a BMW, but I don't see a problem with that. A lot of people attack the fact that the longevity won't be there like a Toyota, but I'll be honest with you, that car was a pleasure to drive. Maybe the longevity, reliability isn't there like a true Toyota vehicle, but you know what? BMW engineering, they know what they're doing. This car, everything on this car is perfect and should be there. It was fast, it was comfortable, it hugged the road well. I never had the feeling that I might lose control if I'm going around a turn too fast. Just everything about the car. There's a good amount of technology in it, but it isn't crazy amounts of technology. So there's a lot of things that were going on with this car that were good. I really enjoyed my time with it. They're definitely on the right path. Now, the one thing I was a little about, and I still am at the end, I felt like maybe this car shouldn't have been called the Supra. Everybody loved the Supra from back in the day. You know, there's such a legion of fans of this car, and even people who don't know cars at all, they don't care about cars, the Supra, everyone seems to know that name. So I don't know if I would have made that car the thing you share with BMW. I probably would have called it something else if it was me, but I get what they were doing on the business side of things. That name is going to sell vehicles, so I get it. But at the end of the day, I'm very happy that I got to drive that around for a week. I was blown away. At one point during the week, I was you know, about to hit up my salesman and just throw me a number on this car, because there are a couple sitting on the lot nowadays. But just an amazing, amazing vehicle. I've never driven a car or truck, and I've driven a lot of cars and trucks, and some high-end ones at that, but I've never driven a car where everywhere I park, people come up to me and say, what is this thing? People were in love with this vehicle anywhere I went. I mean, don't get me wrong, It was yellow. It was pretty bright yellow. I was calling it Goulden's mustard because it was more like a spicy brown. But man, this thing was amazing and did attract a lot of attention. And every time I told someone it's a Toyota Supra, they're like, oh wow, they make them again? So I don't know. I always thought the ad campaign for the Supra was really good, but I guess not. But overall, at the end of the week, totally happy with it. Fell in love with the car. But you know, I'm a truck guy. Getting back into something like this after driving around in a Supra for a week, it is a little bit different. You can definitely feel the weight on this thing. Obviously, there is not one thing I can compare the Supra to this. This is heavy. Well, the Supra was pretty loud too. I guess we could call them both a little bit loud, but this is a different kind of loud. This is more of your, you know, sluggish move down the road feel after getting out of something like that. But I prefer this, okay? I'm more of a truck guy. I'm not much of a car guy, but yeah, the Supra did work. But now we will go to the true point of the video. And that is what some people were saying about ToyotaCare. So if you don't know what ToyotaCare is, it's a little bit different for every vehicle, so I'm going to stick with the Tundra here. ToyotaCare is what you get when you buy a new Toyota. It is complimentary service. So for 2 years or 25,000 miles, Toyota takes care of your tire rotations, your oil changes, they check your fluids, everything like that. But they do it in intervals, okay? So for the Tundra, at least this one, flex fuel is a little bit different. So I'm talking 5.7 regular V8 here. What they do with this one is 5,000 miles or 6 months, you bring it in, they rotate your tires, they check your fluids, they make sure the vehicle's good to go. And then the next time you come in, you get the oil change and then the stuff I just listed, and that's how it goes from then on out. One is just the rotation and the check, and every other one adds the oil change on it. So some people were saying in comments in one of my videos that, well, I don't really go to the 5,000 one because I don't need my tires rotated that soon. I totally disagree with you if you don't go for that initial checkup, and here's why. Now, if you're someone who does your own service, there's a lot of you out there, this really doesn't concern you guys. I know a lot of people who like to change their oil way sooner than 10,000 miles or once a year. Some people have not bought onto that full synthetic 0W20. You don't need to do it. I know a lot of people who feel like when you buy a new vehicle and you have a new engine, you should change the oil within the first 3,000 miles. If you guys want to comment on that, go for it. Everyone seems to have a different answer with this. But the one thing that was getting me a little bit weirded out when people were saying they were skipping their first service because they don't get an oil change, it's just a tire rotation and I don't need it, or I could go somewhere and do it myself or whatever. It is free, but a lot of people feel like, you know, when you go to the dealership, it takes a little more time. You got to wait around and stuff versus going to like a random quick shop, paying 10 bucks and they rotate your tires. But listen, I'm a big fan of going to the Toyota dealership to do my service, just for the fact that it's a Toyota dealership. This is a Toyota. They're going to know what's up with it if anything's wrong. But that first service, to me, is the most important service of all. Even if they're just checking the tires and checking the fluids or rotating the tires, maybe there's not an oil change, but a brand new engine. If they're checking those fluids, you never know what they might find if they're going and doing the, you know, multi-point inspection. The car's brand new, the vehicle's brand new. In this case, the Tundra's brand new. You want to make sure if you got something wrong, you get it taken care of right away. In the beginning of a brand new vehicle, that's when things may show signs of wear early that you take care of sooner and don't have to deal with issues later. So I'm very confused why people would skip that first service and just wait for the oil change one. Now, personally, me, I don't put a lot of miles on my vehicle to where I need to go in any earlier than it says. So for me, it's 6 months or 5,000 miles. Right now I'm at 2571 and my 6-month service will be next month. So there are people like me who don't ever hit that mileage, and that's why they tell you to come in that, you know, the month interval every 6 months for the folks like me that 10,000 miles, maybe 2 years away, because they got to get it checked out. But overall, I really want to hear what you guys think. Are you one of the people that skip that first service because there's no oil change? Because that kind of blew my mind. And do you agree with me that that first checkup is the most important checkup you can have? Just because everything's brand new, we want to make sure everything is working properly early on to not have that big expensive fix down the road. That's the way I feel about it. So let me know what you think in the comments below. I will say this, it is very good to be back in the Tundra. Like I said, quite a bit of a different feeling, but I'd much rather be in a truck than a little sports car. They're fun to drive around every once in a while. The Supra is something I would totally buy if I could afford just a Sunday vehicle, drive around the weekends, good time vehicle. But as my daily driver, no way, no way. Not a lot of space, pretty confined feeling on the inside. You're more in like a cockpit setup versus like this where there's a lot of room to breathe. but it's almost too nice to own. I don't know how you feel. I don't have a garage, so I couldn't keep it in the garage. It'd have to be outside all the time. And because of all the attention the vehicle was getting, I would always think about it. If I was in like a mall parking lot and I went to the mall, I would always be thinking about, I hope nobody's on my car, taking pictures with my car, stuff like that. But let me know what you think. Overall, Supra was a good time, and you should always follow. People ask me all the time this too. When should I go in for my services? Toyota says this, but I want to do this. It's your vehicle. Do what you want, but I strongly suggest you follow what Toyota tells you to do, all right? They're the ones that created the vehicle, engineered the vehicle. They're the one that created the handbook on exactly when you should get service and why. You should follow what they say, but that is up to you. But definitely comment below and let me know what you think. Do you think you should go for your first service as they tell you to? Let's not forget, ToyotaCare is free. So 25,000 miles or 2 years, whichever comes first. Free maintenance on the vehicle. I always take advantage of that. I don't see why you wouldn't. But that first service, guys, you got to go to it. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for being here. What I'm going to do, I always like to put up a couple playlists for you guys to check out. One is going to be the parts install playlists, and that will be some of the parts I installed on my last couple Tundras. And the other one is going to be the parts reviews, which are some things I tried out through the years on this truck and the Platinum before it, and the TRD Pro before that. So go check them out. Let me know what you think. Thanks for being here. I'll talk to you guys soon. Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, at TundraDude34, TundraDude34 at gmail.com. You guys have a good one. Take care.